You're going to tell us about the building trades and what is going on in that particular area. So look forward to that.
Thank you, Dennis. I want to say thank you first for having me here. I want to thank Senator Becker for his great work, as Helen just laid out for us. You did a pretty good job introducing me, so I'm happy to have that intro. Thank you very much, Dennis. I do want to talk just a little bit in my capacity as mayor of the city of San Mateo. Since I have 10 minutes, I think I can fit all this in. I want to cover what we're doing with our REACH codes, because we're kind of ahead of most other cities. We just put in place REACH codes that call starting in 2023 for electrification of existing homes, which is something that's not really so much heard of here on the peninsula at this point, I think anywhere, actually. First, I want to mention that we've had in the city of San Mateo, all new construction has been required to be electric in this current REACH code cycle. What we're doing for the new REACH code cycle starting on January 1st is REACH codes for home renovations. So new homes are already required to be all electric, but for home renovations, what we're looking at is electric readiness in terms of panel capacity. So if you're going to be upgrading with heat pumps, dryer, cooktop, different electrical equipment that uses, additional amps and watts, then we need to make sure when you're taking out a permit and you start your job that you have actual panel capacity in your service box. We need to have outlets installed in the utility and kitchen area that'll provide the 220 volt supply for some of this equipment, and wherever your utilities, like your air conditioning, your heating, your water heaters are. So what we're doing here is in single family homes and duplexes, this requires all residential kitchen and laundry renovations to install an outlet to allow for the use of electric appliances in the future. Requires in single family homes and duplexes installation of heat pump air conditioning when new air conditioning is installed or replaced. It touches on pools and outdoor equipment, but more importantly, and the biggest consumer of natural gas in the home right now, requires heat pump, heater, water heater installation during addition and alteration projects that include water heater replacement. So, and this was a little bit of a struggle. I mean, the reason with that we're a little bit ahead of other jurisdictions, I think, is because of my position on PCE. And I was able to speak in a very well-informed way about the incentives and rebates that are being offered by PCE, BayREN, and some other organizations, and about PCE's 0% interest-free up to 10-year, $10,000 loan. That's going to help a lot of people be able to purchase equipment and pay for installations. Also, I made a big point about the Inflation Reduction Act, the help that's coming from the federal government for that. So these are some great things that helped us get there. And in light of what Dennis just said as we were opening this morning, I mean, I have been acutely aware of the need to do this work for decades. And I'm here now all the way, and I'm pushing as hard as I can in all the different positions that I have held. Let me mention, by the way, thank you, Dennis, but I'm now the former mayor. Monday, December 5th was my last day as the mayor. I'm no longer a city council member. I was there for 8 years. And so I move on, and I'm going to be working on all the same things: climate, housing, transportation, and equity going into the future with my now many friends and different organizations that I can work with. So let me get on to some talk about building trades, because when it comes to REACH codes and the ability to do all this work, installing heat pumps, upgrading service boxes, and everything else, a lot of people say, well, where are the tradespeople to do this work? And in fact, some people have reporting having troubles calling businesses and saying, well, I want to have a heat pump, water heater installed, and having a contractor, actually the company, say, well, are you sure you don't want to have gas? We have gas appliances. We're prepared. We can come out and do it in one day. This might take longer. It's more, they have all sorts of excuses because what they have in stock and what they want to sell is what they have is gas-powered appliances. So there's a couple of things about that. One thing is what we're doing is going to be creating demand. When I spoke with the building trades unions who are engaged in this work, the IBEW, the plumbers, the sheet metal and related trades unit, and the carpenters who I'm working with have been since 1977. One of the things we all know is that unions represent workers, and contractors who workers work for, they get employed by and hopefully under the union's contract. But the relationship is such that there's this contractual, and it has to do with workers and work rules, wages, and benefits. Unions can't really push the rope of demand. Demand has to come from the public. And that's what we, the people out here walking around talking to people, have to do. We have to really increase the awareness and the demand. The city of San Mateo is doing everything we can. In fact, there's controversy in the city, which is going to create some demand, I think, because people are becoming aware that these changes are required, and they start January 1st, 2023. So in a few days. And but that's the thing, demand. We have to work on creating that. Let me go on to what I have learned, what I've known, in what I've been doing with PCE and all the other stuff that I do with the building trades all the time. The IBEW is probably the most engaged union that'll be doing a lot of this work going into the future. Certainly the panel boxes, putting the outlets with the 220 outlets wherever they need to be throughout the houses. Plumbers are somewhat engaged in water heaters. So, you know, they don't represent, though, a lot of the contractors that do that. More so, the sheet metal and related trades do. They represent several contractors locally on the peninsula that I just got the names of here. And they have, all of these unions, though, have the proper training. They all train all of their apprentices, and they have journeyman upgrade training free to any journeyman anytime to do all of this modern work. They offer what's needed, and the workers are being trained in it. They're ready. What we really need is to see the demand pick up. When the demand picks up, then we'll see these things starting to be installed. The pipeline of workers, people who are interested in getting a good job, a good union job installing this. And I always recommend you want to ask a contractor when you call them, are you a union employer, right? Because that's the only way you're going to know that you're getting trained and skilled professionals to do the work at your house. You won't have problems with equipment failing in a short period of time and having callbacks due to improper installations. You'll get the best bang for your buck, because the non-union contractor who employs people who most likely have only been trained by other workers as they do the job, but you'll pay nearly the same for the non-union contractor to perform the job as you would the union contractor. So I recommend you try to find somebody who's going to send people out who are trained and skilled. They're going to do the right job the first time. My work with the carpenters over the years has been as an organizer, and I have never stopped organizing. I started as a carpenter in '77, but as an organizer in '98. And what I know is that organizing workers is a lot like organizing in your city, whatever your jurisdiction is. As I did with PCE, I organized to get that started. It's about reaching out to people, finding common interests, and you know, educate, agitate, organize. That's the way we do it. And so, like I said, people in San Mateo, some are a little agitated about it, but they're being organized. They don't know it. Okay, they're going to have to move in the right direction. So sometimes people need just a little nudge to get to where we need to be if we're going to maintain the 1.5C, like Dennis said, and not go beyond that. I want to say also a couple of things about AB 2011. AB 2011, big success this year with the Carpenters Union, the California Carpenters Conference, which is a statewide lobbying organization for us that works in Sacramento, and Assembly Member Buffy Wicks. It was a tremendous success, along with another piece of legislation that came along, which is SB 6. There's a difference, which is that AB 2011 allows for administerial approval, right? Where SB 6 does not. But they do both allow projects on commercially zoned land It requires prevailing wages. AB 2011 requires prevailing wages and healthcare and apprentice use. And apprentice use is important because we need to train the next generation as we go along, something that has not been happening so well in the residential market. And that causes the shortage of workers that we actually have right now. If we're able to offer work in these infill construction areas, building all affordable housing, then we're going to be able to offer good jobs to many people that are looking for good jobs in the trades. SB 6 does not provide the ministerial approval, as I said, but it allows you to go through and provide and propose projects on commercially zoned property without requiring a rezoning. Both of these legislatures do that. These are important because these are the settings where people are going to be moving here, where we live on the peninsula, into some place along our transportation corridors, along the El Camino. Certainly in the South Bay, there are lots of corridors that we don't have up here where I live in San Mateo. All we have is like El Camino, 101, and the train. In San Jose, wow, such a network of corridors down there where a lot of this kind of development can be done. It's going to create a lot of good jobs, which will invigorate the economy of the communities, but it'll also create new housing with all new appliances, all new electric green appliances, and people that move into this area to be closer to their work from where they've been commuting from will stop emitting greenhouse gases all the way during that commute, and also stop burning gas in those old buildings where they've been living out in Tracy or beyond, using a ton of water on their gardens, and burning gas to keep heat and water going. It'll be a game changer. So we need to, the one big word, okay, the key word of the day, the year, the decade is change. And that's what I'm here for. We got to do it. Anybody's interested, you can look me up on the internet. I'm happy to talk with anybody about all of these things. And I think that's my 10 minutes. So thank you, Dennis.